What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. A long time no see. I hope you all been doing well. I wanted to come through and give my thoughts and opinions on this situation involving Jennifer Lopez and Wesley Snipes. And really, this situation happened years ago, back in the mid 90s. But Jennifer Lopez, for one reason or another, has recently spoke about this situation and brought it back to life, actually, because I think she may have actually spoken on this situation, probably more so like late 90s, early 2000s, maybe like around that time. But nevertheless, Jennifer Lopez is speaking on this situation again, and I just want to read kind of like what she's saying and give my thoughts and opinions, and as well just give some general thoughts and opinions about this situation. So this is on Hot 97, their website. As reported on Hot New Hip Hop, the actress singer spoke about the early stages of her acting career. And, a lot of people felt like her, like, Selena the singer, like her death ended up helping to usher in Jennifer Lopez, which perhaps there's some truth in that. But this article goes on to say, for her first love scene, Jennifer says she wished she would have spoken up for herself more because she was uncomfortable doing it. Okay, that's understandable. It's her first love scene, like, on camera. A lot of people are around. You don't really know this person that you're doing a love scene with like that. And as well, from what I heard, I believe this love scene was not in the script initially. From what I heard, I heard that it was added in at Wesley Snipes' request. But let's continue. The scene was from the film Money Train. The romantic scene was with Wesley Snipes. J-Lo admits she was new to the movie industry. She didn't want to be difficult to work with, so she didn't voice her concerns. Understandable, it happens. She trying to make a name for herself, trying to get her big break in Hollywood, trying to, to be the next big thing. So she says, quote unquote, when you first start working professionally, you push the boundaries of what you should and shouldn't do. And I didn't think I had the right to say no. Like, no, I'm not doing this, and that's it. So we did it, and it was tough. All right, so yeah, I think that may have been kind of like a tough lesson for Jalen to learn, where you do have the right to say no to something. As we all do, we all have the right to say no. And she was 25 at the time, so she wasn't like like 18 years old, like just fresh out of adolescence. She's had a few years on her. But still, J-Lo, she wanted to make a name for herself, and she was like, hey, I do what I gotta do. So she continues, quote unquote, Wesley was wonderful about it in the sense that he was like, what's going to make you more comfortable? And I was like, bring music, play it loud. What type of music y'all was playing up in there, J-Lo? The publication also reports J-Lo said Wesley tried to kiss her outside of filming. She said, quote unquote, Wesley, even though I had a boyfriend at the time, went full court press. So, it seems like from what she's saying, Wesley was hot on pursuit, trying to get with Jennifer Lopez. You know, she says he was flirting with me. You always flirt with your co-stars. It's harmless. Then he started getting a little more serious. She continued, quote unquote, he would invite us all out together, and then at the end of the night, he'd drop me off last and try to kiss me. I'd be like, Wesley, please, I'm not interested in you like that. He got really upset about that. And, I feel like Jennifer Lopez is ultimately telling the truth about this, more or less. Um, like, I could imagine Wesley Snipes being interested in Jennifer Lopez, and as well, Wesley Snipes kind of like a big star, at that time, and Jennifer Lopez was kind of like more so on the come up. So he maybe thought that perhaps he would have an excellent shot at J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez. But she did mention that he would drop her off last. So I'm guessing they all like carpooled, I guess, more or less, or just took one vehicle or whatever. So, So where I'm getting at is like, did she know kind of like how he was before this incident? I'm guessing maybe she didn't, and maybe this is how it kind of happened. So I guess I can, I won't. Basically, at this point, I don't think she put herself into this situation, because a lot of people are alleging that Jennifer Lopez basically knew what was up, in so many words. So this article goes on to say, he got really upset about it. He got really upset that Jennifer Lopez, denied his advances. Wesley responded and said, quote unquote, what happened was she never had done a love scene before. She was absolutely terrified. I was given instructions from the director to make her feel good. That was my job. He continued, I knew people would look at the screen and say either they have chemistry or they don't. I told her if she took my advice, we'd do a wonderful erotic scene, and if it wasn't a good scene, they'd edit it around her and throw it on the floor. And I think, that's the end of the article on Hot 97. All right. So we all read that article. Well, heard the article being read. Whatever. So, personally, I do think that this story is true. Overall, I don't think Jennifer Lopez is really making this up, but some people may feel that she's making it up because she's trying to Me Too. That has become a verb now. Trying to Me Too Wesley Snipes, which could be true. That's not out of the realm of possibility. But a lot of the news websites that cater to black people, aka, the black blogs and whatnot, and black social media, they're framing it as Jennifer Lopez is trying to Me Too Wesley Snipes. Because I guess they feel like Jennifer Lopez is trying to set up black men, or I'm like, some people are framing it as Jennifer Lopez is basically trying to get her Karen card, licensed to Karen, and perhaps trying to sever all ties with the black community, or make it seem like she doesn't have ties with the black community, so that she can get with and marry Ben Affleck or something. That's what I heard. But yeah, I do feel like Wesley Snipes probably was interested in Jennifer Lopez, but she wasn't interested in him for whatever reason. And, based on Jennifer Lopez's dating history, I kind of feel like she probably isn't really interested in black men like that, unless, it's a come up, like with her and P. Diddy. You notice after P. Diddy, she never was really linked to any other black man like that, right? I mean, it was like some photos of her and Drake were like going out on a date, but rumor has it she did that to piss off Rihanna for whatever reason, even though her and Rihanna were cool at one point and were kind of like, buddy buddy with each other. But after Rihanna saw that, she was like, you know, cut/delete, right? Unfollow. But really, Jennifer Lopez, she don't really like black men like that. And that's okay. She has her right to have a preference. You know what I mean? She does. But as one YouTuber put it, Willie D, Jennifer Lopez, as he put it, is an opportunist. And I agree with that. I do think that Jennifer Lopez is an opportunist. Because Jennifer Lopez, she has basically used the black community to get where she's at. And some people be like, well, what does that have to do with this? Oh, can't she tell her truth? Rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. And that's, and, I do agree. Ultimately, she's allowed to tell her truth. And I do think I was fair in letting her tell her truth as far as, me reading her dialogue that she provided, her commentary, her comments and whatnot. But ultimately, to put it simply, I do think that Jennifer Lopez is an opportunist, and she has used the black community, especially black men, to get where she's at today. And we have to be honest that black men and black women too, but especially black men, do help facilitate the J-Lo types in helping to come into the community, culture vote, use it, and then dip out. you know, that has to be acknowledged too, because I know some people, especially some black women are, coming in with capes on for Wesley Snipes and saying that she's trying to me too him, and that, even though Wesley Snipes ain't really down with the black community like that, or at least black women, it's about the bigger picture. And it's like, yeah, that, it's always the bigger picture when it comes to these situations, right? But I do think that the black women just need to let black men handle the bigger picture and just stay out of it. You don't have to be on J-Lo's side, and you don't have to cape for Wesley Snipes. You can just stay out of it. And I think for, black women, for one reason or another, just have a hard time staying out of affairs that concern black men. Honestly, I think they're more interested in affairs that concern black men than black women at times. But yeah, she did, Jennifer Lopez, she did get to come up through black folks, though. She was on South Central, right? She was on In Living Color, dancing and gyrating in Living Color. And she was in some movies that were kind of like, quote unquote black movies, And then she got with P. Diddy, and he helped to, get her into the music industry. And P. Diddy even stole a song from a black female singer named Shantae Moore. He stole a song from her, um, and the song is called If I Gave Love. And you guys may be familiar with Jennifer Lopez's debut single, If You Had My Love. That song, like If You Had My Love and If I Gave Love, if you play them like back to back, they're extremely similar. In the way that Shantae Moore tells the story, it was like P. Diddy somehow, some way was in the studio at the time that either they were playing Shantae Moore's song or either recording Shantae Moore's song. And he spoke with Darkchild, aka Rodney Jerkins, or rather Rodney Jerkins, aka Darkchild, and said, he wants this song. And he's like, well, this is for Shantae. And he's like, well, he wants this song. Basically, make a song just like this. And he did, and he made it, in my opinion, I think he made the song a little bit better. At least lyrically speaking, But then again, I don't know who writes the lyrics for the song. It could have been him, it could have been somebody else. And Rodney Jerkins is also married to a Latina, a Boricua himself. I don't think at that time he was, though. Maybe they were dating, I don't know. Maybe not. But he ended up marrying like this one-hit wonder chick who's a Latina named Joy Enriquez. And P. Diddy, he with his Boricua, he's trying to steal songs for his Boricua. So, that's just one thing. That's just one example, though, right? But that was a significant example because that song ended up becoming a hit song, and it went to #1 on the Hot Billboard 100. So Jennifer Lopez debuted with her first song as a #1 hit. All right. And then she stole vocals from Black women over the years too. And sometimes I can hear in the song where it like switches from Jennifer Lopez's vocals to like somebody else's vocals. This is pretty evident in songs like I'm Real, the original version, and Ain't It Funny, the original version. Which I do like both of those original versions, the original versions of those songs, better than the remixes that they did with like Ja Rule, and Ashanti was in the mix too, and Jennifer Lopez was still in Ashanti's vocals and claiming them as her own. And then when Ashanti was on the track and she said the N-word, people thought that J-Lo said the N-word since she's claiming these vocals as her own. See, that's what happened, J-Lo. You got caught up. Doing all this underhanded stuff. And also another thing, she tried to steal a song from Anne Marie. And Anne Marie is biracial. She's, part African American, part Korean. But I'm going to throw her in the mix too, though. She tried to steal a song from Anne Marie, that One Thing song. She tried to steal that song from her. Like, they stole Shantae Moore's song. But Anne Marie and her producer was smart about this. They played their cards right and played chess here. And they ended up releasing the song. They leaked the song to the radio. The record label didn't like it, but they said, since the song's out, go with it. Make a video for it. Bam. It was a hit song for Anne Marie. So then, instead, Jennifer like, well, that song ain't mine. So she went in and got that song, Get Right. And I think that may have been another person's song, possibly Usher's song, maybe, that she took. Yeah. And she also stole Christina Milian's vocals on the song Play. Like, come on, play that song. Play it all night long. Turn it up. Right, she stole that too. And she does a lot of other things. She was also a part of that whole, Tommy Mottola, Mariah Carey thing too. Like Jennifer Lopez, she got she ain't that innocent. Like, not at all. Like, she ain't no innocent Boricua either. All right. So, she doing some underhanded stuff too. It may not be on like a sexual tip, but still. um, but let's get on Wesley Snipes though, right? Because I kind of want to get at Wesley for a moment, you know. And before I, get in and go in, I'll say that kudos to Wesley Snipes for what he has been able to accomplish in his career. Definitely. Um, Kudos to Wesley Snipes, as well as Michael Jordan for helping to, quote unquote, usher in and bring in style, or bring, darker skinned black men into style. Kudos to them for that, even though I try to avoid phrases like that because it's like in style, out of style, like black men aren't fashion trends. Kudos to that, and just black men representation in general as well. Kudos to that. Right. But let's get into this though. For one, as you know, we talk about colorism on this channel. If you don't know that, you're probably new, and if you're new, then welcome to the channel and welcome to the colorism conversation. All right. But you know, yes, him and Michael Jordan did help usher in the dark skin and darker skin brothers. But notice though, they did not help to usher in the darker skin women. Notice that. And I know folks gonna be saying, well, that ain't their job. They ain't gotta do that. Leave them alone. Y'all always trying to bring down a brother. Yeah. But it is true, right? And some people say, well, Michael Jordan, he was with a black woman. And that's true. She was lighter skinned, and people gonna be like, y'all stop it. Lighter skinned black women is black too. They sure is. Leave her alone. And yes, yes, yes. All right. But as far as Wesley Snipes is concerned, though, he went outside in the community and was throwing mud while going outside in the community because he was, you know, talking about black women in black women magazines. Like really. And have you seen Wesley Snipes' children? Like they don't look to have much of his phenotype at all. Yeah. Because folks love to say that blackness can't be washed out. Blackness can't be washed away. You know, you keep thinking that. Keep on thinking that. Like black folks, y'all gonna mess around. And one day, you keep doing this, one day y'all gonna end up in a museum. And what I mean by that is gonna be, this was the African American man. This was the African American woman. They have become extinct. They're no longer here. But this is how they are rumored and alleged to have looked. Like, yeah, I'll keep playing around. I'll come to your funeral. Nah, I'll be busy that day. But back to this though. So yeah, you know, Wesley Snipes, he does have a history of saying some things that are not so nice about black women, and also big upping Asian women and Spanish women at the expense of black women, even though it's like, well, where are the Asian and Spanish women at right now? Because I see Jennifer Lopez and she's doing what she's doing. I don't see no Asian women jumping to your defense. I don't see no Spanish women jumping to your defense either. I just see mainly, as far as women are concerned, black women jumping to Wesley Snipes' defense. As usual, right? As usual. But notice like these non-black women, will use black men for the come up, and make them the come up man for themselves. But, they ain't gonna be doing what the black women do, right? Because they were not socialized to do that. And as well, I don't think they really see enough value in these men individually and especially as a collective to do that. The advocacy part. You know. And Wesley Snipes is rumored to have, you know, beat on Halle Berry so much that she is now deaf or almost deaf in one ear. Like, whoa. And, people over the years have asked, Halle Berry's ex-boyfriends and ex-husbands, like, basically, was it them who did it? And they, they've asked, I know Christopher Williams, he's denied it. They asked David Justice, he's denied it. I don't know who else they've asked, but those are the two people I can name off the top of my head. And they both denied that. And people say that Halle Berry has even gone on record and said that it was Wesley Snipes in an Oprah interview. I'm not sure about this, but hey, if it's on Oprah, then I'm sure the receipts are out there somewhere. Oh yeah, and by the way, I forgot to mention earlier, but Michael Jordan, again, he married a black woman, a light-skinned black woman, but he also divorced her and ended up with a white or white passing Latina, a Cubana. They like them Latinas. They like them Latinas, them Boricuas, them Cubanas, right? The Colombianas, right? They like them some Latinas, right? Latinas need love too, but I'm just saying, it's interesting though, right? But back to business though. So I just say all of that to say that I don't think Wesley Snipes is really worthy of advocacy all like that. Of course, you're free to do what you want to do and to advocate for who you want to, but I don't think that, I don't think that black women should be jumping up, up and at them to advocate for Wesley Snipes. I just don't think that's true. And I know that Halle Berry is biracial, but she is black adjacent, So it's important to put her in there. But notice, she would be considered quote unquote a preference and see how the preferences get treated. Right? And he ended up in jail for the whole tax evasion, not paying his taxes thing. Hopefully he's gotten that straightened out by now. I suppose he has gotten that straightened out by now. And it looks like he's trying to, get back into the industry, and get his career back on track, But J-Lo like, no, no, no. You're like, nuh-uh, I'm about to help push karma along. Get you. See, they always trying to bring down a black man. They always trying to bring down a brother. No, no. It's a conspiracy. Since the day the black man was drugged to this country, they've been trying to hold the black man down. They've been trying to keep the black man down, and everybody's in on it. The whole system is in on it. The black man, and the white man, the black woman, everybody, except for non-black women, right? They ain't in on it, or either it's just ignored that they're in on it. But hopefully J-Lo doesn't try to pull the I'm Afro-Latina card, because that's been the trend as of lately when, the Latinas get into hot water over something that's deemed as being racist towards black people. They'd be like, oh, I'm an Afro-Latina. Oh, sure enough. Look at my daddy, right? And it's like, nah, you ain't no Afro-Latina like that. I mean, I'm sure if you were to do a DNA test, probably a little something, something would show up. But you know good and well that ain't your, like, address. That ain't your address, right? You know? That's not the identity that you claim. And that's fine. But, you know, just keep it like that. Don't try to jump in and out of blackness when it's convenient. Because when J-Lo got caught up on saying the N-word, folks were like, she Puerto Rican, Shawnee. It's cool, you know, Puerto Rican black too. And like, no, not quite. No, Puerto Rican is a mixture of people. That's a mixture of people down in Puerto Rico. Yeah, slave ships came to Puerto Rico too, and there was some mixing and stuff, but there was also an immigration wave well after that of primarily European folk helping to, you know, lighten up the population. All right. So not every single Puerto Rican is a black Puerto Rican or a morena, a moreno. No, no, no. Hay un dicho en Puerto Rico. Dice, aquí, él tiene dinga. Oh, aquí no tiene dinga. Tiene mandinga. Por eso te pregunto, ¿a dónde tu abuela? Right? And that's basically a saying. It actually doesn't really apply to this situation, but basically it's a saying though, and it's just saying that basically here in Puerto Rico, he or she who is not indigenous, or who does not have indigenous blood, has African blood. Therefore, I ask you, where's your grandmother at? Right? So yeah, I do think that, you know, there's some truth that it probably have a little something something, but long story short, I don't think J-Lo is one of those people. And you can just see phenotypically speaking, you know. I guess I've said all I gotta say for the moment about this, though. Yeah. I guess I can just say one more thing. You know, Boricua's in the house. Boricua's in the house. Anybody remember, like, back in, like, sometimes Jayla would say that when she was performing, and she would do maybe like a dance break or something. At least for the song, what's that song called? Like, love don't cost a thing. She would say that phrase when she was performing the song. She's like, Boricua's in the house. You know, folks would be cheering, you know, especially the Boricua's in the house. You feel me? Right? But, you know, hey, I guess, you know, look like these dudes liking them some Boricuas in the house and some Latinas in the house too, though. You know, hey, that's their preference, though, right? And Jennifer Lopez got her preference too, and it ain't a black man, right? Outside of a come up. But I guess I've said all I gotta say for the moment. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now. I guess one more thing. Again, I'll say the phrase again because I think I may have messed it up just a little bit, a little bit, because I was just saying it off the top of my head instead of reading it. And this saying is from a Puerto Rican, a Boricua poet named Fortunato Vizcarrondo. And he pretty much made this poem called Y tu agüela, onde ejtá, which translates to "and your grandmother, where is she at?" And basically the phrase is Aquí el tiene, aquí el que no tiene dinga, tiene mandinga. Ja ja. Por eso yo te pregunto, ¿y tu agüela a dónde está? And basically it just translates to here, Puerto Rico, one who does not have indigenous blood has African blood. Ha ha. Therefore, I ask you, and your grandmother, where is she at? And that's just basically kind of like saying that sometimes like some Latin folks, some Puerto Rican folks, and just Latin American folks in general kind of try and just hide the fact that they may have some indigenous or African blood in them, especially African blood. But I just wanted to throw that tidbit in right there. But thanks for watching this. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.